smoke. So the Teller did the voice coils, but they're not like standard tannoys now. They go lower than normal HPDs, but the mid-range is missing. So I lived with it for a few years, and then I put the ATCs on. So I run the ATCs from 1K, where the crossover is for these, down to about 700 hertz. So I've just got it, I just literally tacked it on the back of the crossover from where the bass driver is, and I roll it off with about 32 muff of caps and 14 ohms of resistance, because I only want a little bit as a fill driver, not a whole lot, okay? So 2.5 way, I suppose.
So the tweeter's still running
in the tannoy, yes. And I run them all in phase. Normal tannoy convention is your bass driver is out of phase and the tweeter's in phase. But I've always found the bass note was just a little bit late all the time. And so about 6 months, I don't know, 4 months ago I suppose, I had a night here and I thought, no, we're going to try it in phase. So I've done that. It's been a bit of a battle, but I think it's actually much better. So when you get the kick of a drum, it's like the cone's coming forward. It's not pulling backwards and going through the box and coming out the ports. Okay? So I think it's actually better. Nothing in the preamp's changed since you were here last, except maybe I've tacked this cap on and I think it's better. I've got an 80 rectifier in there now instead of the other one. Nothing else has changed here, I don't think. No, I've got the line magnetic DAC now, which a lot of you might not have heard. Which is a Chinese thing, it's only $1,000. Does a very nice job though. 5 digital inputs in it, very handy. Just my crappy PA amp down there, 300 watts a channel. But now we've got the Phono. I've got a friend about 6 weeks ago, he's 84, and when I was over there, he said, Red, you know, do you reckon I'd love to play my records again, you know? This was the guy that bought those speakers, you know, Bruce. So I said, I've got a couple of turntables at home, we'll get something going for you, see what we can do. So I was down at the Hi-Fi Exchange about 3 years ago, I suppose, when Carl Trangino come in. Any of you boys know Carl?
Oh, yeah.
He's the guy who used to do Tivoli's work and whatever. He's pretty fussy with his turntables, and he brought it in and said, Red, give this piece of shit to someone that wants a turntable, right? It's crap. So, can I take it? Yeah. So, sat on the shelf for about 3 years. And I had a Yamaha first that the next door neighbour gave me about 14 years ago. I thought I'd give my friend that one, but I couldn't get speed right on it. It just got the wobbles all the time, so threw that away. I thought I'd pull this out and try this. And literally, the cartridge on it is an old moving magnet of unknown heritage. This is the head shell that I snapped it off out of John's dump master bin. So it's a whole free setup. Yep, so it's a whole free setup. And look, it does pretty well. It's got a nice lid and everything that goes with it, the arm was with it, and it just makes music. I had a Goldman Studio before this with an SME5, and it doesn't play half as nice as this, in my opinion.
Well, the telephone rang and you went, oh, you forgot about this and you forgot about that, and you gotta get back to what you're doing. Goodbye, click, that's so and so. You're an island and on your own. You yelled, hey, when the stove blew up.
My friend and I hated it. It's a real storm. Hated it with a passion. But we ran that off the outputs of the preamp. And I thought this time, after reading the manual on that, Rel say to run it off the outputs of your amplifier into the high input here. So I've done that, and it actually works quite reasonable. I'm running it on the lowest setting, which I think is 41 hertz, and you can see down here the gain is almost nothing. So when you put your hand over it with really big bass notes, you can only just feel it move, you know. Sure, you can crank it right up, but you don't get zero integration with that. So I've done that. It's on tonight. When you turn it off, you go, oh, there's not actually much missing, you know. So, but being in the middle